Yo, hello, welcome. What's up to the Lewd Front podcast? With that was like 5 greeting, 1 intro.
Lewd.
Lewd.
Welcome to the Lewd.
Yeah, why do you pronounce Lewd so weirdly?
I'll take a backsies there. Welcome to the Lewd Front podcast.
Yeah, that's better.
Can I do the intro?
That's better.
Hey, welcome to the Lewd Front podcast. We're about to talk about fucking memes and other shit.
Yep. As he said, with Oiled and our new host, apparently, Deeg.
Hello, that's me.
What's up,
I'm better at
Deeg?
everything than everyone else. What's up?
Oh, bro, he's firing me.
That's it. I'm ready to go. I've taken your job.
I'm getting
Sorry,
kicked
buddy.
out.
Yep. Okay. Sure. See ya. Bye. Bye.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was really hoping you'd commit to the bit and just leave.
No, but then Oil is gonna start crying again. I can't leave him. I have to hold his hand during the podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So, what's up, Deeg? What's poppin'? You wanna
What's
go ahead
poppin'?
and introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Dig. I'm an animator, voice actor, and I work primarily in SFM. Oh, and I'm a streamer because who isn't these days?
I actually did not know you were a streamer.
Yeah, I'm a Twitch affiliate, but I'm only at like average of like 6 to 7 viewers. It's something.
Do you stream while you draw? Question mark on Twitch?
Not on Twitch. I used to stream my animations through Picato, but I don't do that anymore. Now I just stream like playing video games for fun.
You
'Cause I like 'em.
You mostly stream Among Us, right? If I remember correctly.
It's only Saturday nights. During the week, I stream So at the current, it's Pokemon and Yakuza.
Yo,
Yeah.
did you get the Steam Yakuza bundle for that? That was a great.
I did. I've got.
That was a great
I
deal.
finished 0, 1, and 2, and I'm just getting through the prologue of 3.
Yo. Well, wait. We're not talking about Steam games right now. We're talking about hentai, bro. So
Talk about everything. Video games are how I do my job. If the games don't exist, I don't get to make porn.
you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah.
But let's not advertise Yakuza anymore. It's a really good game. You should play it, but that's it. That's it for now.
You know what?
Go play Yakuza.
You know what game can we can advertise right now? Resident Evil 8, because it came out and everybody's horny.
Big mummy titties.
Big mummy vampire.
Big mommy.
I was watching some gameplay this morning, and I quite literally sat there and went, I have a problem. It was the bit where she like cuts Ethan's hand and then sucks the blood out of his hand.
No,
Like,
no, no, no,
"I
spoilers,
have a
no
problem."
spoilers, no spoilers. Stop. I'm gonna stop you right here. I haven't played it. I haven't even
It's
played.
in the trailers.
I haven't even played Resident
Bro,
Evil 7,
it's in
so
the
I need to get to
trailer,
that.
bro.
I need to get to
It's
that.
in the trailer, bro. You don't understand how much she's so hot. But do you know who I like more than the REA mommy character? I like the vampire chick.
The fucking
I
sisters.
Yeah, I love the vampire.
Well,
chick.
they're all vampires, yeah. There's
Yeah.
3 of them. I saw a piece
Yeah.
today. I can't remember who it was by, but it was her and her daughter giving a tit job.
I've seen
And it was,
I have seen
it was so good.
I have seen it.
It was
So-
I need to credit them.
So he has to go find it. Well, while you find it, I need
Yeah.
a basic description of your whole deal, your whole schmuck.
My whole schmuck. I mean, yeah, I make porn primarily in Source Filmmaker. More often than not, I do also do some voice acting for my own work and others, which is quite fun. But yeah, I make people's peepees go in animated characters' vaginas or buttholes, because I do like to animate femboys too.
You make people.
That was a
you
really
make
childish way to do that.
You make people horny in 3D.
I do. That's the best way to describe it. Is I make people horny in 3D. Anybody who doesn't work in the not safe work field, I am a freelance animator.
I'm just a freelance animator.
That's what I
TLDR.
tell anyone who. That's what I tell normal people. It's like, oh, what do you do for a living? Freelance animator. Can I see some work?
No.
No.
No. unless you can get real cool with a lot of things very quickly.
But most of your latest were based on anime characters, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
most of
you're-
my.
Yeah.
I'd say my biggest genre or field would be anime characters. Specifically, My Hero Academia is probably my favorite.
Can
It
I
has a huge fan base, so
can I see
does,
can I see your animations perhaps? How do you feel about Venti?
Venti, I love Venti.
And
doesn't?
I said, like, if anybody asks you if they can see your animation, you're like, oh, can I see? It depends. How do you feel about Venti and Zelda and other fanboy-related characters?
Oh yeah, exactly. It's great. If
Did
they
you
enjoy
just
it,
call
even
Link?
better.
Did you just call Link Zelda?
Right,
Royal?
Zelda. Never mind.
Get out, bro. Get out, please.
I have never played a Zelda game in my life.
That needs to change. At least play Breath of the Wild. It's so good.
And maybe if I can find a good emulator for the PC, but still nothing from that.
Also, the Lady Dimitrescu piece was by Luminu. For everyone who wants to find it.
That's a really
good.
fast shout out to someone. Shout
Shout out to someone else who's not even involved. Go see that picture. It's good.
Well, I've seen it and it's really good. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'll. So you use SFM mainly.
I do.
Blender? Question mark.
I do use Blender as well. Mostly, I would pursue Blender far more often if I could make things as fast in it as I could in Source Filmmaker. I'm much more comfortable in Source Filmmaker, and I can render out an animation in 20 minutes and edit it in another 30, and then I'll be done at that day. But with Blender, there's a lot more to it to make things look really good, and then it will take 10 hours between 3 to 10 hours, depending on the complexity of the animation to render, which is still pretty quick, all things considered. But for my workflow, and especially with commissions, it's really nice that I can work for 3 hours, render in 20 minutes, edit an audio edit in 40 minutes, and be done. That's my day's worth of work.
Yeah, but
in Blender, it's at least a couple of days worth of work.
I'm assuming that if you work in Blender, the quality would be also better, right?
It is 100%.
Like at least graphic-wise.
Oh, graphically, yeah. No, it depends on the style you want to achieve. I don't think there's any style you can't make look better in Blender. It's just more powerful. It's more open source. There's more you can just do with it. You have far greater control. If a model isn't bending right, you can fix it. Source Filmmaker, if it's fucked, don't do it. But if you want something that if you're doing something and it works, it's really easy to get done. And because I'm super comfortable with it, I can make a 5 to 10 second animation in an hour in Source Filmmaker with lighting and camera movement and body acting and all of it.
Okay, but if somebody came up to you and was like, okay, I want to learn animation like you do, right?
Yeah, we'll do that a lot.
Would you recommend Source Filmmaker or Blender?
I'd recommend starting in Blender and never going to Source Filmmaker.
And what made you?
It's harder to transition out of it, and it's better to learn in Blender.
Okay, but what made you go to Source Filmmaker rather than Blender?
At the time when I first started making smut, it was the amount of models. I am just a little bit.
All right, go ahead.
It was the models, and it was the ease of access. And you don't have to troubleshoot everything with Source Filmmaker, because a lot of it is just plug it into this location, open the software, search, and it works. With Blender, it's here's the folders, put them in the right location, import them, spend maybe 3 hours making sure the textures are all actually in the right place. Find out that the model and the rig are actually not compatible with Blender, no longer able to currently use it, have to redo that, all sorts of things. I can get through the process with a new model in SFM far faster with Blender. And granted, that's an experience thing, 100%. If I had spent more time in Blender over the last 2 years, I'd be far more proficient with it and work much faster, which is why I would recommend anyone who starts to learn in Blender and stick with it, because it's much harder to transfer from Source Filmmaker to Blender. The skills of animation transfer, but the skills of software manipulation do not at all. That's by far the biggest factor, is you need to be good with Blender itself to make things look.
So have you planned to fully transition to Blender any time?
I don't have any set in stone times where I want to fully transfer over. I spent a month, I think it was February, I did a month where I only made Blender animation.
Well,
the problem is I made one animation a week rather than the 3 or 4 that I was making a week in Source Filmmaker.
Oh, is that a thing that you want to do? Like completely transition to Blender at one point?
It's funny, I don't know. I would like to, because I think it would be better for me creatively in the long term to be better in Blender. Though I don't know if it would actually benefit me for making porn, because I technically I'm not getting all of that I can get out of Source Filmmaker. I'm good. I will praise myself that I'm at least good.
No,
but
no,
I'm
you are,
nowhere.
you are really good in SFM.
Dang it, I'll take that, but
But
I'm not the
Blender,
best.
just Blender models, but Blender models are just,
Yeah, I think just for the models, it's a good transition.
Mm-hmm. If you want realistic looking animations, Blender can't be beat. Maybe Maya, but Blender can't be beat.
I remember that one when one of the people in my server posted. I think it's from Dying Light, but this animation, right? That thing,
Yeah,
for
that's what
example,
you're
you cannot do in Source Filmmaker.
I think it's possible to get somewhere like that, but nowhere near as nice. There is
quality-wise,
the lighting, quality-wise, no. The lighting and the model's fidelity can't reach that level. SFM, I think, has a cap out where things start getting really broken if you have too denser models with polygons. So things have to be simplified. I mean, I can take. There's a Lady Dimitrescu model available. Dimitrescu. For
the hot
SFM,
mommy milf,
hot vampire mommy milf.
All right, horny. Calm down.
And I could take her and put her in Blender, and she would look 1,000 times better instant. There's no way around that. But it would take me significantly longer to do things like give her a body with legs. She doesn't have any under there. I checked.
Fair enough.
She's just shoes, ankles, and skirt. But for ease of access in SFM, I can body hack and give her a body in 20 minutes. In Blender, I would have to completely take her head off of her original body, attach it to a new body, re-rig it, make sure that all weight paint's okay to a certain extent, all of that, which becomes multiple days worth of work, rather than with SFM where I go, okay, cool, I shrink her body, here is a new body, lock their head to that next position, boom, he has now a nude body, and big fat mummy milkers.
Boom, she's now sex material.
Damn right.
I mean, quality requires sacrifice sometimes.
It does indeed, and massive respect to my friend Katra. She's we started making stuff at the same time, and she's stuck with Blender. Her stuff looks amazing, and she doesn't get me. She's the same level as me, but she doesn't get as much. Yeah, she doesn't get as much clout as other people do for her work because she doesn't chase people's favorites. But her work looks exceedingly better than mine because its quality is just drastically higher. It's more photorealistic. There's more effects going on with lighting. Like the way light affects skin looks so much better in Blender. That will always be the case. But SFM is fast. You can get a lot out of it, and people necessarily don't care.
Would you say that you go quantity over quality?
I think when you're trying to build a brand that people support, I think so. I think there's a balance to strike, and I think I do so is I actively do try very hard to make sure that my work looks good. But I could spend a week making an animation look really, really nice, lighting-wise. If I'm lucky, I'll get maybe 200 more likes on it. And realistically, in that time frame, I could have made 2 to 3 more animations and gotten 4 separate posts with each getting roughly the same amount of likes or retweets. It's, to me, more of a content fight situation. If you want to do well, you've got to make sure you're making content that people want to see, not whether it looks really good or not.
I wanted to ask you, what is the worst part for you while working? What when you animate? What part makes you go, oh fuck, I don't want to do that right now?
Clothing.
Like animating the clothing?
Oh yeah, if someone has, like, for instance, Lady Dimitrescu, this is a new model that's only come out, so it's not really been optimized properly, but there's 2 versions of it. There's a simple model and there's a not simplified. So the simplified version, if you move the feet, part of her skirt and dress moves with it. But the unsimplified one, move the feet, the dress stays exactly where it is, and you have control points for every piece of the dress to move it, and it just becomes a nightmare to move it correctly.
Isn't that where Blender comes in handy?
It's exactly where Blender comes in very handy to simulate it. That's the downside of SFM, is you either have to get really good at doing that or not. I don't. Just don't do it. Here's a top tip. If you can't do it, don't.
Just don't.
Just don't. And that's why I'd recommend anyone who ever starts to start with Blend, because you can get to that point and use all of those things. I'm like a dinosaur now. It's too old to change over effectively, but I will eventually.
Once it becomes your signature, it's really hard to change as well.
It is. I've done work in Blender, and it doesn't do as well for the more effort, and so it's easier to lean back on something you can do quickly for the same amount of reward.
Per se,
That makes sense.
reward. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, let's switch topics a little bit. You do VAs, right?
I do voice acting.
Okay, what made you do voice acting for not safe for work stuff?
For not safe for work stuff, because I couldn't afford to pay a male voice actor.
No,
So I thought,
I can
fuck
respect
it,
that.
I'll do it myself. Yeah. It's good fun, and in doing so, I really enjoyed it. And so I wanted to keep doing it because I enjoyed it, and it's now become a semi-passion alongside animation.
So you're saying your passion is moaning into the microphone?
Damn fucking right.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's great fun. Like, anyone can be a voice actor if they would like to. They just have to take the courage and the steps to do so. My first animation where I voiced for it was doing Deku, because it's one of my long-running series, and it was my first really long animation. It was 2.5 minutes long. I couldn't afford to pay a male voice actor to do it all, so I just spent ages practicing Deku's voice and did it myself.
Well, now you do. When you voice act, is it usually just you as a fan or as a friend doing it, or do you also get commissions for voice acting?
I do get commissions as well. There's a couple of animations that I've done and done voices for. I have my safe work. I haven't really talked about that. I keep my safe work and not safe work completely separate. But I auditioned and got a role for a small game, which is kind of cool.
You got nice. That's really nice. What you got?
Yeah.
A game.
Yeah, it's a small thing, but it's the kind of thing. It's like I was like, sod it, audition and give it a go.
And it worked out. So are you in the progress of doing said voice acting?
I haven't heard anything from it in a little while, so sadly not a huge amount has come from it, but it's throwing things out like they're doing it. So it's not all porn that I do. And I had a lot of fun actually dubbing a comic at the minute, which is about a gender bent Rosie and Jessie Rabbit, or Roger and Jessica Rabbit, to Rosie and Jessie.
Okay.
And it's not porn, it's just nice.
It's a gender bent comic that you voice act. So since we got to voice acting, you did a comic earlier, Not Safe for Work. I think a few weeks back, and that said comic is getting a lot of shit right now.
It is. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it is dark.
I mean, when I was as young as the people who are currently dissing it,
You
I've
maybe
seen
wanna
worse, right?
maybe wanna elaborate on about what comic we're talking about.
Do you wanna say who's the artist? Is that like okay?
I'd say it's okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
It's not like we're gonna diss them. We're not dissing them for it. I like the comic.
No. I love.
I mean, on the
Q.
contrary, we're probably gonna praise them. So
Yeah, no, I love Thick with a Q. That's such a good artist. No matter
They're an incredibly
what,
talented artist. They should be on this podcast.
they should be right. Oil, get to it.
third season, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. So it was about Genshin characters, and one of them got their
Child
horn.
and Ganyu.
It's chilled. Don't say child.
Child?
Yeah, it's chilled. Yeah.
Chilled.
If you say child, that's really sus, right? That's
Well, the only difference in the spelling is the E.
That's instant demonetization.
You see that E plays a huge part, Deeg. Yeah, so Chilled and Ganyu, right? Which Ganyu is one of my favorite characters in game just because of the horns. Then that comic came out with the horns being destroyed. I like the comic personally. It looked nice.
Yep. It's incredibly well done. The art is amazing.
Yeah, the art is amazing, and it also got VA'd by you as well.
And my friend Tempty.
Yeah. Then I checked out Twitter and TikTok. Apparently, it was getting shit on TikTok and Twitter.
Yeah.
It's all kids.
No, it's because they found something they shouldn't have found, and then they're deciding that that's a bad thing.
The only thing that was extremely funny to me that Thick with a Q was just art Twack. I'm just gonna say Twack. See, Twack was just blocking people left and right. Just doesn't care about it, and then made a sequel. Well, not direct sequel, just a continuation of the comic with the same character.
I mean, it's exactly the same thing that happened with Great Mate when people were giving him a ton of shit for not thinking that he'd drawn a character's skin correctly, and it was like, you know what, I don't care. I know what I'm doing. And it's, Thick with a Q is right to do that. I don't care. I'm not going to take the opinions of underage cretins and stop doing my work.
Yeah, first of all, why are underage people in Nsfm for work Twitter complaining, right? Just piss off, come back in like 15 years when you're older. You're old enough,
it's because they're offended about it.
You see, that's why I don't have a Twitter account. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that didn't even occur to me. Don't mind the fact that they're like 14, 15 and, you know, reading hentai and then complaining about it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you got to remember that these are people who have come from TikTok and they're following people who actively have decided that they don't like it, and thus they've told people they don't like it, and so those people are then joining them in going to tell Thick with a Q that they don't like it.
And Thick with a Q
because they don't
like,
think
fuck all of you.
Exactly. Like, I don't give a shit.
I mean, as he should, right? Who gives a fuck
As
about
you
them?
should, yeah.
Dude,
it's my work. Who
the thing
cares?
that he drew, right? That's mild compared to what we used to read as when we were their age, right?
If you use Newgrounds 10 years back, or 7 years back, this is nothing, right?
Nah, not at all.
Well,
I mean, imagine the people that complain about it. Imagine them watching Euphoria. They would get a fucking aneurysm.
Oh, haven't seen that in a fucking while.
Are we gonna talk about gore now?
Good.
Uh-oh.
What about me?
What's also the one? Is it Maggot Brain? I think that's the name.
No, that's one I've not heard of.
Maggot
Probably
Brain.
for good
No,
reason.
I've seen Maggot Brain. No, it wasn't Maggot Brain, I think. I forgot the name, but I know where you're talking
Maggot
about.
Brain or Brain Maggot? I don't remember.
Well, you see, all that shit is just we've been there, but we never complained about it. It was just there, right?
Yeah.
I watched Euphoria for educational purposes. All 6 episodes. Then nothing else.
That's the problem. Is it's the decision to not care from us when we were that age. If we felt like we didn't like, sure, we don't care. But because it's a community of people who have actively, and it's the same people who message artists and go, hey, this character is my comfort character, please don't draw any porn of them. It's those
so
kind of
stupid.
people.
That's so stupid.
It's incredibly stupid. They have no claim to any character, and they can't tell an artist what they can and can't draw. But it's,
I mean, sure, you can.
and I suppose
you can
it's a free speech argument.
Yeah, you can respect the decision, right? But then again, who the fuck are you to tell me not to draw anything?
Yeah, I think it's fine if... Well, it's not even fine because they're teenagers. They shouldn't see it to begin with. It's a problem that they ever see it. And you can't stop kids from finding those things. They have their ways. That we were underage, we did it. But the hope is that they wouldn't.
I mean, who's gonna stop them? Their parents, of course. They're not. If they had, they wouldn't have been on TikTok at this moment.
Exactly, and that's the biggest problem. They have free reign, and thus they've decided that they want to complain about it. And there's a free speech argument, is that they have a right to say that they don't like it. They don't have a right to harass people. But they shouldn't see it in the first place because they're underage. So whoever's shown it, probably someone who was underage to begin with, has gone, hey, look, this is horrible. And we have a problem. And they then flood Thick with the Q's Twitter and kick up a fuss. When they shouldn't be there.
They shouldn't just be there to begin with. And even then, Thick with a Q will not get, cancelled that easily. It's such a good artist.
Yeah. The people who actively follow them are there for their reason, for the right reason.
Yeah.
And it's not like it breaks Twitter's guidelines.
I mean, I'd argue that he even got more traction from it. Because of the whole drama, right?
Of course,
exactly. It thrusts people into the spotlight. Yeah. Any publicity is good publicity. That's not necessarily true, but yeah.
Most of the time, it is.
Most of the time, it is. Especially if it's what's the term? Bipartisan. is where it can go either way, because you'll
No, you
end up
see-
finding people who enjoy it more
Now,
because they go, oh, they've never
already
seen it before.
famous, if you're already famous, a little bit of infamy doesn't hurt. It boosts you up.
No, because then people who hadn't seen your work and enjoy that will go, oh, cool.
I mean,
I don't know why people complain about this.
Shadman is the perfect example for that.
Yeah, pretty much exactly that.
Shadman is
You
the odd
either
one out.
love or you loathe Shadman.
Yeah, Shadman's the odd one out. You don't go middle ground with Shadman. He's either the biggest head or the one you want to kill the most, right?
Or the
Yeah.
one you want to chop off first.
Well, obviously, everyone in this podcast, I so assume, is a big fan of Shadman.
I
I'm neither here nor there. I've enjoyed some of his previous works. I'm not going to say that I'm
I wouldn't
biggest
say I'm a fan. I respect what he did for the country, right? He gave inspiration and rised up so many fucking artists, right? That's why
Yeah.
I respect him the most. Plus his I don't give a shit attitude. I can respect that very much.
I can also respect that. I might not like or agree with things he says or draws. However,
like the things that
he has talent and he has
the
good...
things that he drew like 10 years ago. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit iffy, right? But I really like him now. What he does, even though it's Belle Delphine 90% of the time. But yeah, you do you.
He likes his Delphine.
Hey man, he likes her, bro. Do you see the problem with that?
No. You do you, buddy. Hope it works out for you.
Well, I'm not.
He was
personally-
he's day one with the Belle Delphine bathwater.
Yeah, day one he made an image. He was on it. So, have you been into any extreme or at least somewhat of a drama Deeg? Have you been into any of that shit?
Personally, no. I've gotten involved in drama with other people, mostly to defend others, but no one's ever dragged me into anything. I think it's mostly because I hold my own opinions close to heart generally. I don't let people always know what I'm thinking or what I care about generally. And I tend to walk a fairly cautious tightrope of content. Like, my content gets dark. The animation I made about a month ago that was 2.5 minutes long, it's fairly dark. But it's always in sort of like it was reverse femdom non-consensual. So
That's very specific.
It is, well, exactly. It's Toga and Deku, and it fits character-wise because Toga would do it, Deku would be like, "Oh shit," but whatever. But that's not so offensive. I think the content in it, if it was, I could make it darker by having Deku be crying all the time, having him not enjoy it. That would be much darker. But because it's just like a struggle, it's not as bad. It's still a dark act and a dark
Did you get
content.
Did you get approached by the fandom, the Boku no Hero fandom, about how they're all teenagers canonically?
Yeah,
not yet, no.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I'm kind of surprised that nobody gave you shit for it, because Boku no Hero characters are mostly high schoolers, right?
Yeah, they range from like 15 to like 17.
Well, it's canonically, but if the art is 18 plus, then it's 18 plus.
The way I like to classify things, I look at a character and I say they reasonably could look at that. They look like that at 18. They could reasonably look like that. I'll work with that.
I mean, I'd say the argument every porn artist that does art like that, it's automatically assumed, okay, those characters are 18 plus, right? But the problem is that most people that cry about it on Twitter and whatever the fuck else do not care for that fact.
No, not at all. But that's because they have an opinion and a stance on it, and they don't have to change it. It doesn't change the fact that if an artist goes, "Hey, I'm depicting these characters at 18," they can't do anything about it. They can grumble and bitch and moan, but they can't do anything. So that's what they do, is they just grumble, bitch and moan. But no one's really kind of like gone at me or ever like tried to drag it into drama.
Well, all drama aside, so what are you gonna do? What's your next project? Like, what's the next big thing?
I don't really have anything next coming up in the works particularly. I'm just doing the daily sort of doing work. I've got commissions to catch up with, and I'm trying to put more focus, at least partially to myself, into growing my streaming, because I'd like to do it more, pretty much it. So if anyone fancies, you can find me over at twitch.tv/ShamelessDeeg, because a little bit of help is appreciated.
Spam him on Twitter.
Spam on Twitter at ShamelessDeeg.
If you wanna see some Among Us gameplay, at ShamelessDeeg. Twitch.
That sounds like an insult, Oil.
It does.
It
feels like it too.
It low key was. I'm fascinated that Among Us is still a thing, dude.
I mean, I play it every week, only on Saturdays to play with my friends. But I wouldn't want to play it more outside of that. My mainstay for streaming was Yakuza, and now I'm trying to split it into doing more variety stuff. So I'm going to start streaming Portal 2 during the daytimes and stick with Yakuza during the evenings, kind of thing.
We're getting his schedule live. You hear?
Damn right you are.
This is exclusive.
Speaking of Yakuza, did you ever do some SFM work for that game?
The only things I ever did were little meme stuff. So I recreated the nodding like thumbs up gif with Kiryu.
I think
if you want, I can send it to you so you can play that over the stream, over the podcast.
I think I saw that one. I remember seeing something like that. That reminds me. We talked in DMs about someone posting your work on. I'm gonna censor the site just to be safe. But how do you feel about other people posting your stuff, especially because the video got like 2 million views?
For me, it's only a benefit because I am very lazy, so I don't upload my stuff elsewhere all that often. I pretty much just post for Twitter and my Patreon followers. So if any time anybody takes a piece of work, as long as it's not the 1080p version of my animation and sticks it elsewhere, I'm happy with that because it's advertising for me.
Yeah, and you also got the watermarks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Every animation I make, even ones on Patreon, come with a watermark for that express reason.
But if somebody, for whatever fucking reason, went out of their way to remove the watermark and post
then they have a problem, and that problem is me and my foot up their ass.
That sounds extremely scary.
I say this to people. I am an incredibly nice person. If you've done something to piss me off, you're gonna have a bad time.
I mean, because the video that I saw had like 2 million views, something like that, and the person will also put your name in the video, right? But still, I don't know.
I'm just happy that 2 million people have watched my animation. I'm just that. I just enjoy that fact that someone has posted it and that many people have watched and enjoyed it.
This is a guy who enjoys doing his job right here. Not you, Oiled. I know you hate. I know you hate all your fans.
No, I love them. Stop.
Yeah, you hate them, don't you?
No.
You evil man.
I love them all. Stop. Most of them.
So when did you start? When did you start doing all the models? What year? What year?
All the porn
not
stuff.
smart. Not smart. Just modeling, 3D modeling, whatever.
I don't do 3D modeling. I don't have the artistic ability. So I'm just an animator.
Okay. When did you start animating then?
I started animating, I think, at least for smut purposes. I think it was probably August 2019.
And not non-smart, not non-smart purposes.
Non-smart a year before that, so 2018.
So I'd say you're fairly new. There's baby.
Oh yeah. In the not safe for work community, I'm still very new.
And what made you transition to not safe for work?
It's gonna sound incredibly capitalistic, but money.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then, when are you want money? You should start taking free commission.
Did you get an offer?
I do.
And did you get an offer, then realize that you can make quite good buck with that?
No, at the time I was dating someone who was an artist and who did safe for work and not safe for work pieces of art. And she would be getting paid like $150 to $200 for her work, but her safe for work side was tiny. Like it was no more than 3,000 followers on Tumblr, kind of thing. And same with her not safe for work. But people would pay the extra money to have it not safe for work. Also, she was an amazing artist. And I was like, well, one, I like animating, and it's something that I want to do and get better at. And I didn't take any money from anyone or do any commissions for the first like 8 months until I got to a level where I was happy that I would actually be of value to people. But I just liked animating, and I thought that if I can do something I enjoy and make some money out of it, that I should 100% do it.
Yeah, most people.
And that's why my dad supported me in doing it, surprisingly.
Most people that jump into especially like not safe work, they assume that they're instantly gonna get money, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's a general reasoning. Is that
like
especially for voice acting as well.
don't
Like, I'm
like
gonna be a
fucking
voice
don't
actor
do
and make
that, bro.
money.
You're just gonna end up disappointed.
Yeah, you have to be realistic in everything you do. Have ambition, but be realistic. Like,
So-
I didn't expect to be popular at all.
Well, you did do one really good piece that was in high demand, and it went off.
I can't remember that turning point really. That's funny is I can't remember it. I remember doing some animations with, I think it was Lord Dominatrix.
I'd say your turning point was when you
Dominatrix?
did Bakugo's mom and
Mitsuki
and Deku.
And
Yeah,
Deku.
I'd say that was your turning point.
But I think that was only like maybe 7-8 months ago, and that was when I was about 2,000 to 3,000 followers. For me, it was what I remember is getting the first person who ever commissioned me, and then where that came from was doing work using Lord Dominator, and because it was shared by Woe, what's his name? Woe652. Woe262, who makes really really good models, and because he's kind enough to share any work that anyone makes with his pieces, that I started to get my first 1,000 around that point, and it started to build and build and build. I remember my
Your first commission, what was it?
first commission was it was for a friend of mine now who's been supporting me for so long. It was Cinder and Neo from Ruby camping in a woods. Having sex.
That's it for okay.
Oh yeah, I was getting there.
It took a while, but
Yeah.
And what's the worst commission you've got?
Most commissions I get are fairly good. They sort of tend to match what I make personally anyway. One
Have you
that I turned
rejected
down
the
was just
Oh, you have.
choking.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a character being choked, but
That's
not
not
during any
bad.
sex.
Just choking.
Just choking. It was just like
That's not bad either.
It's not bad, but because I don't see anything that's sexual out of it, it felt just like it's power fantasy, which is not
Okay.
bad, but it was just clothed. Like I want him to pick her up and choke her, and that's it. You're like, that's it. It's easy work, but just didn't sit right.
Okay, I'd say that talking about choking a bitch is a really good time to transition to the Twitter questions.
No, wait. Before we do. As soon as you transfer to Nsfm, which artists' biggest inspirations?
At current, there's only really one inspiration for SFM work, and that's Great Mate. Currently, there's like for Blender and whatnot. I'd say.
Do you follow Crisis Beat?
I do. I don't enjoy their work that much. I think
Really?
the stuff looks great, but I don't get anything enjoyment from it. I don't think the animations are, because
not
for
fair.
me, it's the animation itself that matters, not the overall look of everything. If someone's making the character move really well, that's what I'm into. And Great Mate hits that spot for me, where he also has mastered making SFM look like Blender, and all of the characters are animated just beyond a level that's even comprehensible to me. Makes me feel very small when I think of him.
You'll get there. Eventually.
Here you go.
One day.
Okay.
God, I hope so.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, then we're gonna go to the quick Twitter questions. See you guys in a minute. Not even a minute, a second. Fuck.
Yep, no worries. Both of you.
Yeah.
Curiosity. This might be a conversation to record because it's certainly interesting.
We are recording though, right? Okay. Yeah, just go ahead.
This is like my question back to you. What is your opinion on VTubers?
Not interested.
Not
The
interested.
Japanese ones, I enjoy.
I mean, yeah, I can also enjoy on YouTube, right? But I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch them live on Twitch or whatever.
Yeah, I don't watch them
wherever
live.
they're
I watch
streaming.
clips. I watch
clips, but more than anything, what I find fascinating is how popular they are. Because
It's fucking excessively popular. Like
they are excessively.
yeah, that's how hard they're popular.
Yeah, and it's in such a short period of time. Like, it's only become such a massive thing, and we know this kind of realistically, because the HoloLive set of VTubers started 7 months ago, and I would say that they are actively the biggest names. That's Amelia Watson and Gora and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what I realize is why I don't like them.
You see, the two names you mentioned are the English VTubers that I excessively hate.
But it's not so much that they're English and whatnot. That's I mean, obviously not liking them is fair. But they I think they're actively the most popular at the current. They've got Gora has got 2.3 million subscribers on YouTube in 7 months, which is that's an insane number.
I can see the appeal, right? But it's not for me.
But I've realized specifically what, at least for me, bothers me,
Which is?
that they're not real, and not for the cartoon characters, but because they're not people who have sort of earned their popularity. They are faces of a company that has put them in the spotlight.
Well, yeah, it could be a guy for all I know, but
But yeah, that's sort of what I find fascinating, is that it's a company's mascots that are now heading and probably growing so rapidly in a market that was originally just creators connecting with their streamers, with their community. And they've done so exorbitantly well that even I now have brought myself a model, or commissioned myself a model, to do something similar, because I now think the landscape is changing, that if you don't have something like that, you're not going to be popular.
yeah, you're behind if you don't have a model now.
Exactly. And it's all been led by companies putting forward people behind the images of their characters. Because you don't know who the person is behind Gora.
Yeah.
You know the company. It's not like knowing Filthy Frank and knowing oh my god, what's his name? Joji. Yeah. It's not like, oh, he's the character and there's the person behind it. They are faceless.
Yeah. But as I said, they could be guys for all I know. But the Japanese
with good modulation software.
I just enjoy watching the Japanese ones. I don't know. Maybe it's the weeb side of me.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just their reactions is funnier. That's just me. I don't watch the streams though. I don't watch the streams though. I watch clips or YouTube videos, like just a tiny bit.
It's like Korone noises. Like
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
yeah, and I can get the appeal through that, but it's one of those things where it starts to feel like they are commercial, if that makes sense.
They are.
They're a puppet rather than entertainment. It's like
definitely
watching
are.
a TV show rather than watching someone just stream because they're enjoying playing a video game.
Oh, and sure, I got a meme for you.
Well, let's go towards the what's this? That's an Omni-Man.
Retirement more. No, 2 nickels.
That's such a good video. That's such a good show. I liked it. I loved Invincible. Anywho, let's go towards the Twitter questions. Well, we got back from the break on a VTuber topic, but
we did.
It's time for Twitter questions.
Yep.
Let's start with first and foremost by Temp. I don't know who you are. Nah, I'm lying. I know who you are.
We all know who Tempty is.
Yeah. Shout out, Tempty. Shout out. Just who has been your biggest source of inspiration in Nsfm for work on Twitter?
I think that was answered a little bit earlier. That's been great, mate, because actively looking at his work makes me want to improve myself and my work. Can't think of any other animator that does that so much.
If you weren't into Nsfm for work acting or animating, voice acting and animating, what would your career be?
Video game animator.
So animating, just right back.
Just animating, yeah. If I wasn't doing not so for work animating, I'd be animating.
Okay, that's a cutthroat answer.
Yeah, I did a master's specifically to do animation, and as a sidetrack, I've kind of diverted down not safe for work stuff and just kept rolling with it because the snowball keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Do you see yourself anywhere else besides animation?
Besides animation, streaming and voice acting are the other two that I want to put myself into like heavily. I did do 3 years of filmmaking when I was at university. I did film and visual effects as a Bachelor of Science.
Okay.
So I would probably do YouTube and filmmaking.
Okay. Next question.
Well,
Shiro, go.
Next question Faye the Succubus. It's a lengthy question. Hello, Faye. How would you describe the increase in work involved for having multiple camera angles when making an animation loop? Is it hard to have multiple camera angles?
It can be. It's certainly a reason why when people commission me, it's a little bit extra on top to have an alternate angle. Because especially with Source Filmmaker, much of what I have to do relies on breaking models to fit a perspective. I did an animation. It's currently pinned on my timeline. It's probably my favorite animation for the last 2 months. And the character who's giving Deku a blowjob, Nejire, has her ass up and wiggling behind her as she's doing it. Any other angle other than from Deku's POV, her back is contorted and broken.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So if I was to do an alternate angle, I'd have to fix all of those things to make it
the
work.
mistakes. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Is that something that wouldn't happen in Blender?
No, it would entirely happen in Blender as well, but you could reasonably fix it with SFM. Some things that just have to be broken. For instance, her hair in this angle is clipping right through her body underneath the bed that they're on. And the hair bones that I have in Source Filmmaker only come in at neck level. So I can't actually rotate the hair to lay it flat against her body from any other angle. So if I was using Blender, I could fix that, for example.
Yeah. Sure, I'm gonna.
Well, as of SFM, it's really hard for you to keep up with all that shit.
Exactly.
I did use SFM while I used to play Gmod, right? And that's the extent of my SFM knowledge, and it was really painful.
I will tell you what, Gmod animators are terrifying.
There was a really popular guy back in the day that did the Shrek animation.
Yeah.
Oh, the Shrek is love.
Was it Crispy Toast? Nah, it's Daz bullshit.
Daz bullshit.
Yeah, you know that guy, right? That
Yeah.
guy was seriously the best guy I've ever met on Gmod animation.
And they are just another beast entirely.
Yeah.
SFM is like beating a dead horse. Blender is riding a running horse. SFM is beating a dead horse, and Gmod is the equivalent of being drowned by a dead horse, and they still somehow make animations.
No, but most of them have died out by now.
Yeah,
But
it's
they
old.
still do it. They still do it. They are on a different level. Like there were the Harry Potter stuff and all that.
Yep, and of recent it was, I think the biggest one that came out was The Heavy is Dead.
Oh yeah.
That's all Gmod. That's all terrifying to me.
Yeah. They're super good. Bro. They're super fucking.
The amount of
It's,
patience you have to
amazing.
animate anything is beyond anything I've ever done.
It's amazing how they pull it off like that. Let's see. Next question by
Same
Kitty
person.
Smart.
No, same person,
Yeah,
bro. Same person, bro.
all of my friends.
Wait. Oh yeah. Sorry, Faye. Faye had the second part to the question. Have you found making Lewd animation? Did that change your mindset or how you look at other art, and I'll say from work art?
Other animations I cannot enjoy.
Animation, like as
Yeah.
a whole.
As a whole, because I am too busy critiquing the animation itself and the ability behind it to enjoy it. So if I get shown, the only person that I can't even enjoy Great Mate's work in an actual pleasuring sense, because I'm like, I want to be that good, and I can never get past that.
The curse of a judging guy.
Starts jerking off against the breast in the middle of it.
Yeah,
Not even possible anymore.
So it's a weird one. I do like quality in animations, and though there is a ton of Source Filmmaker porn, it has to be exceptionally good to the point where I completely forget it's an animation to enjoy it.
You just keep looking at the art.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just looking at it going, how the hell did they get that thing to move so smoothly? I'm like, should I borrow that technique? I mean, I learned from watching Great Mate stuff how to do eye animation properly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm constantly looking at other people's work and trying to adapt it into my own, and thus I can't just sit and watch it.
It's just too late for you now. It's just I need to do
It's
my
too
own
late.
shit.
Yeah, especially for animations. For art and drawings, fine. No, not an issue at all. Can enjoy that to my.
Yeah, I don't draw
every
myself, so I cannot be a good judge.
Exactly. Well, for me, it's like I can't draw. Thus, everything is mystical and amazing, and I can enjoy it. but because you critique, at least to me.
Well, this is the demise of a horny guy. You just heard it on live.
Yeah, it's real sad. There's a lot of hot shit, and I just can't fap to it because I'm too busy going. I really want to animate like that, or that leg needs to move a little bit. It's too static.
Let's see. What does? Okay, last question, but not least, by Kitty Smart. That's also your friend?
She is, yeah. She's a Blender animator. She's great fun.
Hello, Blender animator. Big fan. I don't know who she is, but big fan. Kitty Smart. Appreciate the question. It goes, what are your top 3 kinks?
Top 3 kinks? Femdom. Don't.
you do sound like a bottom feeder. You do sound.
I'm a little bit of a bottom, but I am a switch.
Okay.
Yeah. Femdom 1. Again, bit of a rough one. Non-con.
What?
But take that is it goes femdom and then non-con, so it's
okay
that way around.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're linked.
Yeah, and hence why my recent animation was Toga and Deku, and Toga is very aggressive.
Okay, the last one.
And the last one, Amazoness.
Okay, so that's like
you might wonder why I like Lady Dimitrescu quite a lot.
So that's one. It's all linked.
Mm-hmm.
It's all linked.
I think easily 4th would be Impregnation.
Then how do you feel about cat girls? How do you feel about cat girls?
I like them as much. I like them as much as any other cat girls. Any other girls.
That's the follow-up question.
That's from Kitty, wasn't it?
Then Kitty said, "When are you moving to Blender?" But we did cover that up.
Exactly.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I stole your clout, Kitty.
It's like to Kitty, when I'm good and ready.
When I can handle it.
When I put my big boy pants on.
So far, I am still a child. No, sorry, chill.
You said it. You said child. Oh, piss.
Oh, piss. Oh, fuck. Piss.
Oh, piss.
Okay, Deeg, do you have any closing words?
The difference.
Can you speak French?
What?
Well, Dark closing words where he started saying a paragraph in French.
Oh, so I couldn't do it in another language. Main thing, to anyone who wants to start making porn, don't do it for the money, because it shows. Do it because you enjoy it. And I think the biggest thing any advice that I'd give anyone ever in their life is do what you love. There are a lot of people who will never ever attempt to do what they love. So do what you love and do it to the best of your ability. I love animating. I basically swapped my entire career choice to follow animation, and I don't regret it because I love it. And I would tell anyone, if you're like, oh, I like doing art, but I'm doing a maths degree to become an accountant, like, oh, why not do art? Like, oh, but I'm not good enough. Practice. Get better. You can do it. Do what you love, and you'll have a happier life.
If you do it for love.
If you start doing art or animation with money on your mind, you're gonna fail miserably.
Money is a good side effect of doing something you love.
Yep.
And if you can turn what you love from a hobby into a profession, make sure you're doing it because you enjoy it. Take commissions because you want to support making the things that you enjoy making. And that's what I do. I take commissions only when I need to. That's why I don't have that many artist block or needing to take a break for a while, because I'm only ever doing so to fuel my own creative passion.
So do it out of passion, not for money. You
do it for the passion.
You shekel love it. Okay, we should end it on that scream. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye.
Bye.